The traditional scoring guard in the NBA is dying. Here's why. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another BoxInOne discussion. And today, this video kind of got inspired by Cam Thomas. You know, Cam Thomas is a guy that said, I think I'm worth the money of guys like Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Tyler Hero, etc. He doesn't view himself beneath those players, right? I'm thinking about Cam Thomas. I'm thinking about a guy who averaged 24, 4, and 4 approximately last season on 42 from the field. I'm thinking about a guy who is a bucket on the Brooklyn Nets. I'm thinking about a guy who has many iconic moments. I'm thinking about a guy who averaged 40 over the course of 5 games when KD, Harden, and Kyrie were no longer a part of that Brooklyn Nets team. I'm thinking about a guy who can get you 25 off the bench. I'm thinking about that guy in Cam Thomas. When I say dying, I don't mean that they're not going to have their purpose. I just mean that scoring now guards are no longer going to be what teams go after as an integral piece to winning an NBA championship. When you score the same way, right? Especially when you're an undersized guard. Because when we look at SGA, he's 6'5", 6'6". He can get buckets anywhere. He's a 3-shooter, but it's also his footwork. It's also his driving ability that gets him buckets. When you're just a guard in Cam Thomas, and no disrespect to him, when you're score now and you score the same way, and the way you've scored hasn't improved, teams no longer feel like you're going to be a high commodity item as a first or second option on an NBA team. They're not going to build around a 6'3" guard anymore. Another example of this, Jalen Green. He's nasty at times. He's a bucket. I know the Phoenix Suns, for whatever reason, even though they have Devin Booker, are like, oh yeah, we're going to have Jalen Green on our offense. That doesn't really make much sense. But still, Jalen Green was immediately traded by the Houston Rockets the moment when Kevin Durant became available. Why? Because there's no longer a premium on these types of players to be a first or second option. You have a guy who can score, but you have a guy who doesn't really know how to facilitate. You have a guy whose scoring isn't dynamic enough to make defenses collapse. And again, that's going back to SGA. That's going back to Luka. That's going back to Ant. That's going back to Brunson. So many of these guys command double teams, command the best defender on the opposite end of the ball. So when they get going, then the double teams flow. Then it's like, oh, okay, if I'm doubled, at least my guard is open on the corner, my wing is open, or my center is open with a mismatch. That's bag work. That's great basketball. These guys don't command double teams. Cam Thomas, as elite as he is, he's not a guy that's consistently going to garner double teams. And he's not a good enough facilitator to, if he did garner those double teams, it would be free buckets for the Brooklyn Nets. Jalen Green, same thing. He's a bucket. He's athletic. He's a go-getter. But Anthony Edwards took the leap that Jalen Green didn't. When we look back on this Minnesota Timberwolves season, right, and I understand you got beat by 5 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The defense was too much. But when we look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, right, Anthony Edwards in that Los Angeles Lakers series specifically took a crazy leap in his playmaking ability. Obviously, the Wolves started hitting shots like crazy, but Ant said, okay, if I'm not hot, I'm going to strap down on defense and I'm going to pass the ball. That's one thing he didn't do good in that Minnesota series, but really a majority of that 2023-24 NBA playoff run. If Ant wasn't going, it took Cat, it took other guys to take that pressure off and get going offensively. But now Ant understands it. He says, I'm going to become a much better leader and facilitator when I have the ball as compared to last year. Cam Thomas and Jalen Green have not made those leaps as players yet. Now, you could argue that Cam Thomas doesn't have the players around him to make that leap, but you still had Mikal Bridges at a point. You still had Cam Johnson at a point. You still had guys that you could pass to get things going. He didn't do that. Now, crazy thing is, you're going to be playing with Michael Porter Jr. next year. And this is Michael Never Swing the Rock Porter Jr. Do you know how funny that team is going to be to watch? Like, it's going to be the opposite of the memes we were seeing when Jokic and Russell Westbrook were on the same team. Like, oh, they're both going to be passing the ball to each other for that 10th assist for the triple-double. Brother, they're going to be fighting for the ball. Cam Johnson and Michael Porter Jr. are going to be wrestling mid-court like it's WrestleMania 2009 to get this ball. Well, I need my overs to hit. No, I need my overs to hit. Hey, bro, what's your efficiency field goal rating? Efficiency doesn't matter. This is the NBA. Like, dog, this is going to be comedy. I don't think y'all understand. This is going to be comedy. Imagine if D'Angelo Russell was still on this team. We would be seeing some of the most unholy brands of basketball ever. But my point is, Cam Thomas, Jalen Green, I hate to tell y'all don't exist in the league as first options anymore. You're not dynamic enough of scorers to command double teams. You're not consistent enough to be a guy that can give you 26, 27, 28 a night and also lead a team as a facilitator, because remember, SGA is also a great facilitator. Luka can give you 30. I mean, he gave you 34, 10, and 10 basically 2 seasons ago. Tyrese can give you 30. It's also going to be 10 boards, 15 assists, and 3 steals. These are all guys who can do crazy things. And then Jalen Brunson, he's going going to get to the line. He's going to get the team in the bonus, which is beneficial to everybody around him. He's going to give you 50 in the game winner. That's what great scorers in this league do, who are first options, but they have something more than just their scoring capability that opens the floor for the rest of these guys up. Cam Thomas, you don't have that, man. Jalen Green, you don't have that. And I understand, okay, well, Cam Thomas could do it in a different system. Yes, but let's look at the way he scores. Ball dominant the entire time. And when you're ball dominant the entire time and you're winding down the shot clock, 14, 15, 12, 8 seconds now, 6 seconds, he's going to be forced into a corner. He's either going to do him cuz jack something up, or he's going to be forced to pass. It's going to be a rush shot. That is the issue with guys like Cam Thomas and also Jalen Green. You are not going to be a number one option in the NBA when you are a scorer, but you're not dynamic. You can put points on the board, but they're going to feel empty. He averaged 24, but it doesn't feel like he raises the floor or lowers the floor. It's just there. His 24 does not have an impact on how good the Brooklyn Nets play. It's just about his stats. With that being said, though, guys, that is going to do it for us today on the BoxInOne channel. Again, as always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let us know what you think about this video in the comments. Do you agree about the pure scores kind of dying out in the NBA, and you have to be more dynamic and not only have different ways to score, but also open up the floor when it comes to the offense by drawing doubles, getting to the free throw line, and putting your team in the bonus? Let us know what you guys think about that. If you disagree, let us know in the comments as well. We love hearing the feedback. But again, as always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow all of our socials in the description for more Rois, more Samajai, more Joachim, more Daniel, and more Marcus. Follow our TikTok and Instagram for daily content. That is also in the description of this video. New videos every week on the channel. Again, as always, for the last time, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you all in the next one.